welcome to ACC Network Football, presented by Dr. Pepper. Final game of the season inside Alumni Stadium here in Chestnut Hill, Mass. Today, the Boston College Eagles look to send their seniors off with a win over the visiting Louisville Cardinals. Good afternoon, everyone. Along with Eric Wood and Mark Hertzlick, I'm Chris Cotter. Glad you decided to join us on this Thanksgiving Day weekend. Mark, we've got two very dynamic quarterbacks in this game. Let's start with BC's Phil Dracovic.
Yeah, Phil Dracovic transferred in from Notre Dame after spending 2 years there, and all he's done in his first year at Boston College is second in the ACC in passing yards with over 2,000 yards. He keeps his eyes downfield really well and finds his open receivers. The last 2 weeks he has played with a separated shoulder, but now after having a bye week and some rest, he says he's healthy, and look for a lot of Phil Dracovic throwing the ball downfield to guys like Zay Flowers and Hunter Long.
Dracovic is the subject of today's Geico Player Spotlight. You mentioned 2 years in South Bend. Could hardly sniff the field with the great quarterbacks they've had, so he transfers to Boston College, and he has been all that was advertised and more for the Eagles. As for Louisville, junior Malik Cunningham, he'd be all ACC material if he could just hang on to the football, Mark.
Yeah, lots of expectations coming into this season for Malik Cunningham. He is so dynamic with the ball in his hands. The problem is the ball doesn't always stay in his hands. He has accounted for 14 of the team's 21 turnovers on this year, including 3 fumbles, all in opponents' territory. But when he is hot and when he is not turning the ball over, he is dynamic and absolutely explosive for this Louisville offense.
Cunningham, he's having to shoulder an ever-increasing load of this Cardinal offense in recent weeks. With more on that angle, let's send it down to the field and Eric Wood.
Thanks, Chris. As a team, Louisville rushes the football over 50% of the time. Today, they will be without Javian Hawkins. Their star running back has opted out on the remainder of the season to prepare for the NFL draft. When he opted out, he was the leading rusher in all of the ACC. They're also without their second most productive running back in Maurice Berkeley. He's out for the rest of the year with an injury. 2 weeks ago, Malik Cunningham rushed for 197 yards against Virginia, and they will need that type of production on the ground as well as through the air if the Cardinals are going to get a victory today. Back to you, Chris.
Yeah, look at Jalen Mitchell and Hassan Hall. Aiden Robbins, even the redshirt freshman from Louisville, going to get some time at that running back spot with both Berkeley and Hawkins not available today. Scott Satterfield, ACC Coach of the Year last year in his second season now. A little disappointing to start. But certainly every single team has had to deal with COVID issues, had to deal with injuries. There's Jeff Hafley in his first year in Chestnut Hill. Co-defensive coordinator at Ohio State last year after several years with a lot of NFL teams. Cleveland, San Francisco, Tampa Bay as their secondary coach, coming back to the college ranks and having a lot of success for this 5-4 Boston College team. BC won the toss. They deferred. Toe meets leather, and we're underway here in Chestnut Hill. Hassan Hall on the return to the 20. Has room to the 40. Has the kicker to beat. Can't do it, but Louisville will have great starting field position. Time for Food Lion. Food for thought. And the big story coming into this game, and really the whole season, Mark, you mentioned it in the open, turnovers. Louisville gives the ball away, and BC specializes in taking it.
Yeah, and their records go right along with the turnover ratio. When Louisville wins the turnover ratio, they're fantastic, and they win their games. But when they turn the ball over multiple times, I mean, they even had 3 turnovers last week when they shut out Syracuse. I mean, they cannot win games like that on a regular basis, and so it's going to be on that man right there, number 3, to keep the ball in his team's possession.
Cunningham rolling to his left, looking to throw, and does. Has a big tight end out in the flat. That's Ian Pfeiffer on the catch and a first down. Jamon Moose there to make the stop.
Yeah, you see right off the bat a naked bootleg to start it off. That's what Scott Satterfield brought to this Louisville offense. You're going to see stretch outside run a lot. You're going to get one-on-one deep balls when they man-to-man, but then really their RPO play action is boot game off of that stretch run. You saw it in the first play.
Give to Hall. Misdirection. He's got a huge hole to run through. 20 and just tripped up at the 20-yard line. He was a shoestring away from scoring.
Well, Boston College knows stretch run game is their main course, main appetizer. Well, look, they're going to do a little counter off that stretch play fake, and all the linebackers just got pinned inside. Really, really lucky. I just got to say, if that was Javian Hawkins, if that was number 10, that would have been for 6.
Well, a turf monster jumped up and caught Hassan Hall inside the 20, so just like that, Louisville in the red zone. Little touch pass. Not a whole lot of room to run. And tracked down is Braden Smith. Nice job by Josh DeBerry staying home and bringing Smith down for a loss.
Yeah, another thing you're going to see a lot out of this Louisville offense, and it's not necessarily a terrible thing. They get a lot of tackles behind the line of scrimmage, tackles for loss. But when we talked to Scott Satterfield, he said that's just kind of how our offense develops. We're going to run side to side to make you guys, the defense, stretch before we hit it uphill. Sometimes that results in TFLs and second and longs.
Now the option. Cunningham decides to pitch. Hall nowhere to run, and the pursuit catches up with him.
Malik Cunningham, little tentative right here. He's got to hold the ball a little bit longer. Turned his head way too early, pitched the ball way too early, so Jamin News, who is defending both the quarterback and the running back, could make an easy decision. Another good tackle, stop for no gain, and now Boston College is subbing in their pass rush crew and see if Tem Lukabu comes after the quarterback.
Louisville 43% on third down this year, but this is not a bargain at 3rd and 14.
Look over the top, one-on-one. Des Fitzpatrick.
BC brings 5. Receiver fell down. Defending on the play was Jason Maitre. He couldn't quite catch up with it, but once the receiver fell down, that play was null and void. 4th down now for the Cards.
Yeah, it was. You saw him fall down. I think, Chris, the first thing I look for is there a yellow flag anywhere? Is that going to be a pass interference? But looks like it just, another turf monster. I guess home field advantage for Boston College on that drive, and see if Louisville can put 3 points on the board and score first.
That job will fall on the shoulders of James Turner, sophomore. 10-12 on the year. This one will be from 39 out. Flag before the snap as Turner puts his toe into it. Let's check the marker.
Full start. Number 70, offense. 5-yard penalty. 4th down.
Our referee today, Stuart Mullins, with the call. Trevor Reed, guilty of the infraction, 5 yards back. So now from 44 yards, Turner to put the Cardinals on the board first. Has the distance and is accurate. Louisville and Coach Satterfield take the opening kick down the field, put 3 on the board. They're up early. Big kickoff return by Hassan Hall on the opening kick, set up Louisville near midfield. Malik Cunningham picked up a couple of first downs. Field goal from James Turner gave the Cardinals this early 3-0 lead here in Chestnut Hill, senior day. Whole group of Eagles seniors were recognized before the game. We'll show you some of that footage a little bit later on in the broadcast. Of course, it's an interesting year. You never know who's going to come back. All, or certainly some of those seniors, probably will decide to come back because of COVID issues. The NCAA said this year doesn't count against them. Brock Travelstead kicking off for Louisville. And a chance for Travis Levy. He puts his shoulder down and gets a nice return out to about the 28-yard line. And our first opportunity to check out Phil Jakovic today.
Yeah, Phil Jakovic, we mentioned it in the open, basically sat on the bench for 2 years at Notre Dame, and we wanted an opportunity. And honestly, he said football wasn't really getting fun for him anymore. So he transferred to Boston College. He had a prior relationship with offensive coordinator Frank Cignetti, who's in his first year, and said, look, Cignetti has just made football fun again. And I mean, fun pays off. Second in the ACC in passing yards with 2,355. Not bad.
David Bailey, big back in motion. Jakovic to throw right off the jump. Finds his receiver, C.J. Lewis. Usually those two are hooking up for big plays. This is a short play, though, but a nice little play to get him into rhythm here to open the game.
Yeah, and it'll be interesting to watch how many deep balls he throws early in this game. When we talked to Jeff Hafley, he said, he kind of kept a secret, the separated shoulder that Phil Jakovic had over the past 2 weeks, but he says he's healthy now. We'll tell on some of these deep passes whether he's accurate or not.
There's some old school Boston College football. A couple of tight ends, quarterback under center. Give to David Bailey. And he just keeps those feet churning. Big run for Bailey. His first carry of the day. I think he wants to set a little bit of a tone here.
Yeah, I think a little bit of a tone. You look, it's tackle over. They got 3 offensive linemen on the left side with 2 tight ends, 250-pound running back straight downhill. This looks like 2019 Boston College.
Yeah.
But if they can get that running game going, it'll add to their passing prowess.
Such a different team. They had, with A.J. Dillon last year, they ran so often. Large percentage of their offense this year, more of a throwing team. But as Coach Cignetti talked about, wants to get that run game going to set up this man right here, Jurkovec. He's going to run it himself and to midfield and beyond, getting into Louisville territory. Eric Wood, what do you got on some personnel issues in this game?
Number 90, the starting nose guard for Louisville. They were hoping to get him back this week, but he's going to be out for this game with an injury. That's a big loss for the Cardinals. They're also without backup nose guard Desmond Tell. So Malik Clark, number 92, has a tough job in the middle going against Alec Lindstrom, who is an excellent center for the BC Eagles.
That's a good point. And Mark, without Goldwire in there, I mean, he's 6'6", 305. That's a big body at that nose guard spot in this 3-4 defense.
Yeah, it really is. And you see Boston College running the ball more on this opening drive than we've usually seen. But just when you look at the defensive line, I know this is a 3-4 defense that relies heavily on linebackers, but they only have 2 guys on their roster over 300 pounds on the defensive side of the ball. And Mikal Bland is the second one. Jared Goldwire is the first. So, as you said, Malik Clark a little bit undersized, but this is an offensive line for Boston College that isn't as used to running the ball as they were in the past. But we'll see how effective they can be throughout the game with some depleted players on Louisville's defense.
3rd down and 3 for the Eagles. They give to Levy. He's met, but slides off a tackle. Monty Montgomery met him in the hole, but just enough for a 1st down.
Well, Monty Montgomery is a fantastic linebacker, and he's so good with his eyes. You see him use his hands and get off the block. Travis Levy just able to roll forward for the 1st down. But watch Monty Montgomery, number 7, play this entire night. I asked Brian Brown, I said, do you have anybody on your defense that just scares you? Like you walk by him in the hallway on a Wednesday and he could just go off, and he said, Monty Montgomery's, he's a scary dude. He can play that way on the football field too.
Well, remember last year we asked him that question. He didn't have anybody. So this year Montgomery has emerged as that guy that can scare people both on the opposition and on his own team. Jurkovec, he has room to run if he decides and does so again.
And yeah, and just for Mama Montgomery out there, this is a compliment to your son. I know I've been described as a little bit scary on the field when I played back in the day, and my mom was always, oh, why'd they call you scary? Well, Mama Montgomery, we like your son. It's scary is a good thing as a linebacker.
You've been known to be scary even in the broadcast booth. I've been with you for a couple of games when Enter Sandman starts at Lane Stadium or something like that, and I thought you might be able to put the helmet back on and go play.
At least for one play.
Flowers on the jet sweep. Has a couple of blockers in front of him. Patiently uses those blockers. He was able to pick up a nice little chunk of yardage before Russ Yeast forces him out of bounds.
Well, Boston College does not have a speed back. There's no thunder and lightning. It's just thunder and thunder and thunder. So if you want to get on the edge, you hand the ball off to a guy like Zay Flowers. And you see those two big tight ends out in front blocking. I mean, it's all play design. They don't run a ton of different things in terms of the run game, but they come out of different formations and love having tight ends as the lead blockers.
So BC on their opening offensive possession, methodically marching downfield. Play action for Jurkovec. Over the middle, has Flowers. Inside the 20, dances his way inside the 15. It'll be 1st and 10 for BC.
Well, Phil Jurkovec's under pressure on this play, and you saw his arm strength to get the ball downfield. But the play was made on the back end. Zay Flowers coming back to the ball. He had an outside curl route, and look at him charge back to the ball so the defenders can't receive it. That's a development that Zay Flowers has made throughout this season. Last year, he would have sat there and waited for the ball to come to him. Now he's attacking the football in the air. Really good pickup for Boston College, and Chris, you're right, methodical drive.
Lewis in motion with Levy in the backfield. High snap, brought down Levy. Tried to put his head down and gain an extra few yards, but Monty Montgomery was having none of that on the stop along with C.J. Avery.
It's a Louisville defense that Over the past few weeks, they've been hurt, banged up, guys out of games, and they really feel like, other than Goldwire, they're very healthy right now. And even with all those players out, I mean, they're still the 9th-ranked pass defense in the nation. They're very aggressive. It just seems like sometimes they take these big shots and miss tackles for big games, but last couple of game outings, they've been good.
Dracovic directing traffic to the end zone. Just outside, finds his receiver. That was C.J. Lewis. He'll be close to a first down. We're going to mark him out at the 6. As he came back to the football too, yeah.
Yeah, watch the eyes. Dracovic, look, he looks in the middle. He sees Hunter Long. He points at him. It freezes the safety a little bit. He knew he was going outside the whole time. Oh,
look at that muscle. Ball might be loose. Ball is loose, and it looks like Louisville's falling on it. They have Louisville football. Dracovic was the benefactor of a huge surge from that offensive line, and then the ball popped out.
First down.
Oh, man. Well, I mean, they're known for running quarterback sneaks a lot, especially in short yardage. The 3rd and 2 is an option for a quarterback sneak, and Frank Cignetti was asked about that in the press conference this past week, and he said, you know, we felt better handing it to Levy with the hurt shoulder that Dracovic had, but watch how this ball comes out. Let's see if his knee hits the ground. Nope, ball's out. Louisville covers. Louisville ball, we come back.
Hope everyone continuing to enjoy their Thanksgiving weekend. And a very strange play that we just saw moments ago. The fumble from Phil Dracovic. Churning, was forward progress stopped here? The whistle didn't blow, and the ball was eventually jarred out, recovered by Louisville. Eric Wood, you're down in the field. Boston College coaches wanted to get a call on this, didn't they?
Yeah, Jeff Halfley and his staff were begging for forward progress to have been called there because he was stood up and the play was stopped, but there was no whistle, and you could not review that, so the Cardinals are going to start off with the football here.
And Cunningham trying to go up top from deep in his own territory. He hits his receiver. That's Fitzpatrick, rather, and that's going to be a first down.
Yeah, good play call off your goal line. It's, you know, hard play action, but they got the ball out quick. No pressure on the quarterback, and yeah, you pick up 20 yards, and now you're just right back. Looks like you're after kickoff. Got out of your own end zone.
We talked about Malik Cunningham and the 11 interceptions and the 3 fumbles lost on the year. He does not lack for confidence, though. He is slinging it around here early. On the option again with Hall. Cunningham keeps it. Picks up just a few. John Lamont, one of those seniors recognized before the game on the tackle.
Yeah, John Lamont, you know, he started all 12 games last year. He was second on the team in 2019 with 78 tackles. It just, they run more of a 4-2-5 now. He doesn't get as much playing time, but so far in this game, they've played 3 linebackers on almost every first and second down play.
Give the Hall. Cuts it back inside. Picks up about 3 or 4.
We talked about all
Brandon Barlow on the stop. Sorry about that one.
No, it's all right. We talked about all the problems that Louisville's had, you know, fumbling the ball and turning the ball over, but that was only the 10th turnover that the Louisville defense has caused all year. And that's part of one of the reasons why the turnover margin is so drastic, because they have not forced a lot of turnovers. So, you know, caps off to Brandon Brown and his defense for getting that one out.
Yeah, it's an interesting point. Only 10 turnovers forced on the entire season. Cunningham's going to keep it on 3rd down. Slips a tackle, but he's going to be close to picking up that first down. That was, John Lamont was out there along with number 21 for Boston College, Josh DeBerry, from that corner spot.
Well, that's 2 plays in a row that Cunningham came up and shaking his head a little bit. Got a glanced elbow on his head, and the play before looks like someone landed on it.
Was able to pick up enough for the first down. Now rolling to his right. Tried to quickly connect with Fitzpatrick. Falls incomplete. Elijah Jones defending on the play. Mark, it looks like to me like Louisville is just mixing all kinds of plays in misdirection and rolling Cunningham out in all different directions. They're really mixing it up offensively.
Yeah, they are mixing it up offensively, and it's not allowing Boston College to bring pressure. I mean, you have not seen them blitz one time in this entire game. And I think they're playing, look, we're not going to let them beat us over our heads. They understand the speed that Louisville has, and they don't think that they have the speed to match their skill players on the outside.
High snap brought down. Cunningham's going to keep it. Now a quick pass. And Marshawn Ford, that play looked frightening from the start.
Yeah, it looked frightening from the start. I'll tell you who it looked frightening to. The Boston College's defensive coordinator, Tim Lukabu. There is a huge dilemma right here. You have one guy covering the quarterback on the option and the pitch man. Don't be surprised if Louisville comes back to that 3 receivers to one side look later in the game, because that has to be corrected, or that'll be a big play to hit for Louisville offensively.
That's an awfully tight pass, though, on the near side of the field, isn't it?
Yeah, it is, but you don't want to pass it. It's more of you want to get a pitch man in there. And so next time they run it, don't be surprised if that's, Hassan Hall, a speedy guy that they can pitch to.
BC bringing pressure here on 3rd and 10. Picked up enough for the first down and a lot more, but dropped. Tutu Atwell, did he catch it? It looks like the officials are going to rule it a catch and a fumble.
I think you're right, Chris, and it's interesting because no one touched him at all, and Cunningham
Somebody
got
touched
hit.
Cunningham. He's banged up.
Ruling on the field is a catch. Formed by a fumble, recovered by the defense. First down, timeout.
Cunningham finds Tutu Atwell, and it looked like it was going to be a first down for the Cardinals, and then Atwell just drops it. BC recovers. Eagles have the football when we come back.
By the defense is under further.
Cotter and Hurst, back to you. Eric Wood looks sharp today. That man, I need a name for his stylist.
His haberdasher. I don't know if he has any rain gear, though. He may not look sharp for long because it's starting to rain here in Chestnut Hill. We're going to check out with him in a little bit as that fumble got the ball back to Boston College now, Eric, in Louisville territory. And that rain's having an impact, isn't it?
Yeah, this field is wet. It rained pregame a good amount, and now it's not raining at all, but this field turf is slick. We've seen a number of guys. 2 receivers fell for Louisville on the opening possession. We saw Hassan Hall trip, and then on that last one, the ball, I believe, was slick when it came right out of Tutu Atwell's hands.
And the turnover bug bites Louisville again, as now Boston College is set up in good position. Bailey just crunches into that Louisville defense and is met.
That was a big hit.
That was a collision.
David Bailey's a big boy, but he did not bend over at all on that run, and his shoulder pads were straight up and down. He got smacked by Rajay Burns.
Rajay Burns, Malik Clark, Darius Peterson. That was a collision. So it's 3rd and 1.
No QB sneak.
Again, double tights for Boston College. Bailey in the backfield. Give to Bailey. Coming off the edge, Bailey might be stopped. That looked like Isaiah Hayes from his safety spot mark coming off the edge along with Yasir Abdullah.
Yeah, and I don't know if they got enough yardage. It looks like they did, but really good job of crashing down off the edge by Yasir Abdullah. And again, stopping the big guy. It looks like they did not get it, and now it's 4th and 1, and they're going to be going for it. This, you got to expect a quarterback sneak, and you tell Dracovic just hold on to the football.
On a bounce line to the right. Flowers in motion. Play clock at 1. Just get it off. Dracovic using that push. Look at that push. He got almost 5 yards on that sneak.
We called a game, Chris, a few weeks back against Pittsburgh, and Phil Dracovic had a rushing touchdown from the 3-yard line. It was just a quarterback sneak, and those guys up front did the whole thing. You look at 72, 64, 80, 78 in there. I mean, these are all offensive linemen that when they talk about their college, they call it O-line U. And they love the fact that they have so many guys playing in the NFL from that spot, but anytime they can have a quarterback sneak go for 5 yards, that'll feel good too.
Fresh set of downs for the Eagles. Dracovic on the play fake. Pressure up the middle. He goes over the middle. Has a receiver wide open. And Flowers is able to go down and make the catch.
First of all, watch the block by David Bailey. He gets the play fake and just gets a little piece on the edge of Marlon Character before he gets to Phil Dracovic. But good placement with the football on the play action pass.
BC wants to go quickly. Bailey with the carry, picks him about 5 or 6. I know Eric Wood is smiling down there on the field watching this offensive line go to work.
This O-line is absolutely impressive. And this has been a tough transition for this offensive line. It's not like going from the option offense, but as much as they ran the football last year, what they're asked to do this year is so much different. And it's been great to see this offensive line develop as the season has gone on.
Johnson, Mahogany, Lindstrom, Petrula, Vrabel. 2nd down and 4. Again, just riding Bailey as he crashes into that line, still moving to the goal line, and he'll score. What a run by David Bailey.
Some horses are running backs, some horses are gazelles. This dude is a rhinoceros just running straight through the middle of this defense. And really good job playing it on the outside by Russ Yeast, but just too much body to take down David Bailey in for 6. And he's been waiting his turn with this pass-heavy offense. Got it a little bit versus Syracuse, but it is a David Bailey show right now for Boston College.
Bailey's 6th rushing touchdown of the year. And now Bumeri with the point after try. It is good. Boston College takes the lead 7-3 here on Senior Day in Chestnut Hill. This is old school Boston College. We talked about it from the open. People must think we're lying, that they throw the ball all over the yard. They have been all year. Trust us, folks. But not today. They've found something against this Louisville defense. Makes them think they can run it, and they're having success with it.
Well, I think really in order for Frank Signetti, the offensive coordinator, to have a lot of faith in the run game, what happened versus Syracuse needed to happen. I mean, you're going into a game against a lesser opponent, and you have a hurt quarterback. So you need to rely on the run game. And David Bailey had a fantastic game, 25 carries for 125 yards in that game. And I think he showed Frank Signetti, the first-year offensive coordinator, that, look, we can do this. So if we need to, just hand the ball off. And then you got Phil Dracovic as well, who's been just having a fantastic year.
Coach Hafley talking to Dracovic there on the sideline. There's Bailey, waited his turn behind A.J. Dillon last year, now getting his opportunity. Boston College coming into this game ranked 104th in the country, or rather 116th in the country at rushing with just 104 yards per game. Louisville will take back over on their own 27. Women's college basketball returns Sunday afternoon with a triple header here on the ACC Network at noon Eastern. Florida meets Florida State. Another in-state rivalry coming up with Georgia Tech at 2 o'clock. And then we cap off the day in South Bend with number 22 Notre Dame and their new head coach, Neil Ivey, hosting Miami of Ohio. All 3 games not only on the ACC Network but also on the ESPN app. So now it's Malik Cunningham's turn after the Louisville turnover led to 7 BC points. Put together another drive here late in the first quarter. Here's Atwell in motion. Cunningham with the give. Straight up the middle, that was Jalen Mitchell. Eric, what do you got for us?
After the last series, Malik Cunningham went to the sideline, and he was in a lot of pain. He took a shot to his groin area, and he seems to be doing fine now, and he was able to walk it off, which is a great sign. He was walking off very gingerly, and Louisville's coaching staff was extremely concerned at the time.
That's a good point. When we saw him walk off last time, it did not look good, but he was able to walk it off on the sideline and is back now for this, what looks to be the last play of the quarter. Mitchell churning his legs and picking up an extra 2 or 3 yards. That will be the final play of the quarter. Louisville faces a third down on the other side. Cardinals scored first. Boston College took a turnover into the end zone. They lead 7-3 after 1. You're watching ACC Network football presented by Dr. Pepper. Start of the second quarter here at Alumni Stadium. Louisville trailing Boston College by a 7-3 score. Mark Hertzlick, Eric Wood, Chris Cotter here with you. Glad you joined us today. Louisville's last possession at a turnover near midfield. Boston College recovered a fumble. Took the ensuing drive in for a score. They are up 7-3 as Louisville faces a third down and 2. Cunningham's going to keep. Utilizes a couple of blockers and I think just got enough to pick up the first down.
Yeah, good job by picking up the first down, but great play by Isaiah Duffy, number 55. Look at him get over top. that linebacker position and bring down Cunningham, because if not, that would have been up to the safety. Been really impressed with both defenses, how these linebackers have been playing in this game. Very gap sound, fundamental, getting to the football. Definitely the strength of both of the defensive squads.
And if you think McDuffie has a lot of eye black, in the pregame, Mark said, why don't you just cover your whole face? What are you doing?
Absolutely.
I can still see a little bit of white skin there by your eyes. Cunningham now rolling left, decides to keep it. And that's why he's so dangerous right there, Mark. He made a 7-yard play out of just about nothing.
Yeah, we talked to Jeff Hafley, who's a defensive guy, defensive coach. Said, what's the best thing about Malik Cunningham? He says he makes all these plays off script. It's not a part of the actual play you draw up and put on the whiteboard, but he just is able to do it. And so, I mean, out of all the turnovers and all the interceptions and everything, this offense would be nowhere near where it is without him.
Bad snap. Cunningham just going to have to fall on it. Tried to stab it out of the air with his right hand, but once it hit the turf, best part right there was just to fall on it, and he does. He's getting up slowly.
He did look like an old man getting up there, kind of like what I look like getting out of bed these days. But let's see if this snap is off a little bit. Yeah, you see as the center's trying to get on that outside zone path, he snaps a little bit behind the quarterback, and that play would have been a nothing play anyways. So good job just falling on it and live to fight another down.
Which is this down, which 2nd and 3 now turns into a 3rd and long, 3rd and 11. Mitchell in the backfield with Cunningham. Boston College showing pressure. They bring 6. Cunningham goes downfield, tries to get it to Fitzpatrick, and it's a fantastic catch. Fitzpatrick using all 6'2", 210 of that frame, going up to take it away from Jones and pick up the 1st down.
This Fitzpatrick is one of the most underrated players in all of college football. He is such a fantastic wide receiver, but overshadowed a little bit because of the emergence of Tutu Atwell last year. But look how he stems at the top of this route, gets his arm involved just to block down Jones's left arm, and went up, make a great play. It's a guy who's going to be going to the Senior Bowl coming up in January. Future pro prospect.
Cunningham, lots of time. Now just throwing it away as he could not find a receiver open. And he again finds himself on the turf.
Let me tell you something right there. That is an improvement play for Cunningham. This is a play he scrambles. He tries to buy some time, and then that right there, throwing the ball out of bounds, is something that he needs to work on, because he throws too many of those into traffic and tries to make plays. So although that'll come down as an incompletion, that's something that Scott Satterfield, this head coach and offensive coordinator, are going to absolutely love.
He even tried his hand at acting a little bit at the end of that play with Barlow. Fumble. Boston College recovers. The true freshman Cam Horsley. 2nd turnover of the game for Louisville.
By the defense. 1st down.
That was Hassan Hall trying to make something out of nothing, and it looked like his improvisational skills were going to work. But again, the slippery football is elusive and ends up in the hands of the Eagles. Louisville 119th in the country in turnover margin coming into this game. They forced one early, but now offensively they're having a hard time holding on to the football. It's like a greased pig at a carnival out there. Last turnover here, you see Hassan Hall giving it up, and Boston College recovering once again. They're in good field position. Quick pass to Flowers. Inside Louisville territory. Look at that speed on the outside. Stays in bounds and picks up an extra 6, 7, 8 yards by not going out of bounds.
One thing that I just noticed on that play, Chris, is you watched basically the same run play, a sweep to the outside. This time it was Flowers, last time it was Hall for Louisville, but Flowers had the ball in his outside hand. Too often I see the Louisville runners have the football in the inside hand towards the defense. Cunningham does it, and we saw Hassan Hall do it as well, so that has to be changed going forward if they want to cut out these fumbles.
Flowers with 27 yards on the carry. Now a little bit more traditional for the Eagles. As Travis Levy dances his way in the middle of that Louisville defense, picks him about 3. Big old Malik Clark right there having to get a lot of PT today because the other 2 nose tackles, both Jared Goldwire and Desmond Tell, the true freshmen, are out of this game, unavailable. Dracovic hits Levy out of the backfield, met immediately by a Louisville defender and defended nicely for a short gain.
Saw more defenders slip for Louisville on that last play as they're breaking on the ball. You know, Eric mentioned the field was wet pregame, and I think that, there's still some slickness to this turf because guys are falling, the ball's on it, the ball's slippery. Just been, relatively sloppy game for about 20% of this game, but the rest, both teams have been moving the ball well and driving downfield at a pretty good fashion.
Big 3rd and 6 as Louisville's defense tries to hold after the turnover. Cardinals bring just 4. Dracovic hits his receiver, and that's going to be close. Levy again out of the backfield. Let's see where they mark it. I think they may mark it short.
Yeah, they're going to mark it short.
By about a yard.
Yeah, and this is going to be within field goal range for Bumeri, but it looks like they're going fast for QB sneak possibility.
And why not? That has been so successful other than Dracovic putting the ball on the carpet. They've got a nice push in the middle of that line. Fresh set of downs for the Eagles.
It'd be interesting to know from Eric, who played center for a long time in college and in the NFL. What's the key in those quarterback sneaks? You just say, get on my hip and ride, or what's that game plan like, Eric?
Yeah, and if you have the talent that Alec Lidstrom has inside and the power that he has, you say, yeah, just follow me. If you're Louisville, if I'm their nose guard, if I'm Clark in the middle, I might just take a dive at his legs to create a pile right there and let the linebackers pile up Dracovic over the top, because whatever they're doing right now is not working.
This is working for BC, just running the football, power run game. They're mixing it up with all 3 backs. Pat Garwo there, the redshirt freshman with the carry. Travis Levy and David Bailey have found success running inside.
And that last carry is by Pat Garwo. He's a redshirt freshman out of Pennsylvania. He's a guy, I remember when he came in as a true freshman, they thought he might get a lot of clock last year. He was able to redshirt. But he's a guy who's a very good up-and-coming running back, a little bit faster than maybe a David Bailey, who's back in the game.
5 backs have combined for 62 yards when you include Drakovic's yards. So spreading it out and finding success. Now Dracovic, play action, rolling out. Oh my goodness, had his tight end wide open. Spencer Witter was wide open, and Dracovic couldn't find him.
Louisville comes flying off the edge. You see Nick Okeke just miss, and then he drops back into coverage, but
oh my goodness.
Look how Dracovic, hands on his knees.
He's killing himself. That's his first incomplete pass, and it was the easiest attempt he's had all day.
Doesn't get much easier than that one. That being said, I wouldn't want to have to do it. But 3rd and 8. Bottom of the screen, look, one-on-one. Hunter Long matched up on a cornerback.
That's Chandler Jones, and Dracovic is looking that way. He finds Long, he catches it in traffic, and it looks like that's going to be enough for a first down.
Anytime you see the tight end on a single receiver side down in the red zone, you got to think that it's going to that side. You got to double him. Rob Gronkowski made this famous, but Frank Signetti's a guy who's coached some really, really good tight ends in the past, and that's something that's a professional style play. But you get the matchup you want, pick up a first down.
BC scored off the first Louisville turnover of the game. Looking to make it 2 for 2 here. Flowers in motion. That's Garwo. Garwo's like a little bowling ball out there. I shouldn't say little. He's like a bowling ball.
Yeah, he's like a bowling ball. I guess he's like little, but when's the last time you saw a Boston College team that didn't have a running back that looked like that? I mean, you think back, Andre Williams, he was that same big guy, obviously, AJ last year, and it seems like they just are able to find these guys that want to come to BC and pound the football.
Here's Bailey at 236 now. He'll take it. met nicely at the line of scrimmage. C.J. Avery coming up from that middle linebacker spot to stone him.
Yeah, C.J. Avery made those last 2 tackles. This is a guy who's a senior captain of this defense. Watch number 9 in the middle of the screen. Good read and got right underneath the tight end, Spencer Ritter, was trying to get up and block him. I always tell linebackers, if you go underneath the block, you got to make sure you make the play. He did on that one. 3rd and goal. Got to know where number 80 is. He is the top target down in the red zone for Boston College.
There he is in motion, coming near side. Louisville drops into the end zone. Will be picked. Oh, just up for grabs and a tip ball. Kentrell Clark was right there to break it up and almost come up with a fantastic pick.
Yeah, well, Kentrell Clark, number 1 in the ACC in pass breakups this year. I love the no call by the officials. That was good defense. He had his eyes on the football. Boston College really lucky that was not intercepted, but great play by Kentrell Clark, forcing Boston College to settle for 3 points.
Aaron Boumeri, the transfer from Temple, spent the last couple of years here in Chestnut Hill. Walked before the game on senior day, looking to extend this Eagle lead. From 23 yards out, Boumeri is perfect. Boston College takes another turnover, puts 3 on the board. They're up 7 here in the second. Well, the reason why we hired Jordan Cornette is because he's a face guy, right? And yet we don't have any faces here on the graphic. Coming up at the State Farm halftime report, we'll have a recap of our first half here. Plus, I'm sure the guys will talk extensively about what Trevor Lawrence and Clemson are doing to Pitt early, and it is ugly unless you're a Clemson fan. It certainly is. It's beautiful in that regard, but halftime report brought to you by State Farm. It's all coming your way in just a little over 6 minutes time.
So if Jordan Cornette's a face guy, does that mean that we are not face guys? Like, clearly, that's the reason why we are not currently.
That's why they're in studio
on TV. Yeah, that makes sense.
E.J. Manuel, Mac Lane, Coach Rick, face guys.
Yeah, I'm glad. Well, see, this is a revelation. I'm glad you told me this now, so at least I can manage my expectations on my own face.
You get it. The mohawk doesn't help. You've tried all of the face paint, eye black.
My face is
I'm right there with you, my friend. Hall from his 5. Nowhere to go as he gets out of bounds. 23-yard line. That's where Boston College will take over when we come back. Eagles up 7 here on Senior Day in Chestnut Hill. 6:41 left to go here in the second quarter. BC up 10-3. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. With Clemson and Notre Dame in the top 4 of the college football playoff rankings this week, when was the last time an ACC team other than those 2 were in the top 4?
2015 Florida State. Was Florida State ranked number 1 when Jameis Winston was there?
Yeah, it would have to be. Let's think. As Louisville starts this drive. I'll doom their last 2 drives. What do you think, Mark? I think Florida State might be right, because that's about 5 years ago with Jameis.
Yeah.
Jameis.
But it could be related to these teams. Sometimes they do that. I know Boston College was 2 in the country in 2007.
Was it Louisville with Lamar Jackson?
Maybe. Were they? I don't know if they were that high.
I don't know if they were ever that high. I feel like they were always.
Prior to the Houston loss the one year, I know they were right in it.
All right, they're playing football. We should probably talk about that. Let Affleck tell
Cunningham
us.
looking to go deep. No one open. Dangerous running the football. This is what he does. Look at him eluding tacklers in a big game on second down. Going to get him a first down. 18 yards on the carry.
Okay, so this is what Malik Cunningham can do. Okay, this is a drop back pass off a play action. There's nothing open. This is not a design run at all, but look at the receivers, turn downfield, get some blocks. He does it himself. Scott Satterfield has a rule in his quarterback room. If you slide and you don't have a first down and we're not winning in the second half, then you are benched. So you will not see that man slide very often at all.
And this guy can run when he has to. He's looking to throw a lot today, though. Hits another receiver inside of Boston College territory. That's his big wide out from Farmington Hills, Michigan, Des Fitzpatrick. Eric Wood mentioned it. Go ahead, Mark.
Yeah, just this is a run offense, right? You look at Scott Satterfield and what he's done. It's a run offense. However, Malik Cunningham is the 3rd most passing yards in the ACC, so they are just as effective, even not more effective throwing.
16 touchdown passes coming into this game on the year. Cunningham had 197 yards in their loss to Virginia a couple of weeks ago. That was the first game without Javian Hawkins, and Tutu Atwell was out for that game. Atwell is back today. Here on the option, Cunningham, hole, inside the 30. He gets through there quickly with Duffy and Roberts there to make the stop, but another first down for Louisville.
Official timeout.
A player down, that is McDuffie, who made the tackle. He's getting up under his own power, so that's good. Shaking up a little bit.
Media timeout.
We'll take a quick break. Back with more. 10-3, BC on top in the second. Let's answer our Aflac trivia question on the day as Louisville continues their drive. With Clemson and Notre Dame in the top 4 of the college football playoff rankings this week, when was the last time an ACC team other than those two were in the top 4? Miami. Oh, when the turnover chain, when they started, what, 10-0? Was that what they were that year?
Of course.
How stupid are we? That was only 3 years ago. Seems like 33 years ago. Braden Smith on the receiving end down to the 22. It really does, doesn't it? My goodness.
Yeah.
But we're still playing football and loving it. We're enjoying this game, too, despite the fact, we had the 3 turnovers in this game, but you look at it, it's other than those 3 turnovers, and that's a big thing, but it's a fairly cleanly played game and entertaining.
Yeah, it is. And, because both teams have turned the ball over, it's still a really close game as well. And Louisville obviously won more, but with that man with the football in his hands, pretty much
changed
anything
it in an
can happen.
instant. Almost did right there. Still a big run. That's 21 yards, 18 yards, and 19 yards on 3 carries in this drive. And does he have a hurt hand? He might. Maybe a finger, dislocated finger.
Yeah. What was that Spider-Man hand?
I guess if it's going to be on one of the hands, it better be on that one.
Yep. See if the helmet hits the... Oh, wow. I mean, that...
Glad he got fallen. Somebody had fallen on it. 20 yards on that carry. Is it a wrist, maybe? A dislocated wrist? That's what they're looking at right now in that forearm.
Yeah, hands are the types of things that go very early. I'm sure Eric Wood has broken plenty of fingers. I know I've broken all my fingers and probably all my toes as well, but it could be the wrist right there maybe, which is the whiplash of the wrist.
He landed on that left wrist.
Yeah.
When he first hit the turf.
And that, we said he maybe hurt his groin earlier, but that's the same arm that he was kind of favoring after that hit in the first quarter. I mean,
you see Scott Satterfield coming out to check on it.
Yeah, and
Evan Conley is the backup, who played a lot last year, Mark. We had him a couple of times last year, and Conley and Cunningham were kind of 1A and 1B early on back in 2019.
Yeah, and the offense really changed when Malik Cunningham came in. Obviously, his explosive nature on the ground, but Evan Conley is a very capable passer, not as explosive in the run game, and we'll see him at least for one play because the training staff is on the field. Hopefully, it's not too big of an injury for Malik, but we saw in the Syracuse game last week, Evan Conley got some clock, Jawan Puma Pass, who is a 5th-year senior, they got some action. So these guys aren't as cold as maybe some of the backups would be after that romping of Syracuse last week.
When you think about it, Evan Conley, sophomore out of Marietta, Georgia, just 4 for 5 on the season, as you mentioned, in little mop-up duty last week, or last week Friday against Syracuse.
Friday football, isn't that so good, Chris? Friday football last night, turning on some nice Notre Dame game. That was fun to watch.
Yeah, Notre Dame was fun. So was the Oregon State game in the fog in Corvallis.
Oh, yeah.
So Satterfield now obviously a point of concern for him with his dynamic playmaking quarterback, Malik Cunningham, having that left hand and left arm looked at by the training staff. Evan Conley comes in, 1st and goal for the Cardinals. Give to Mitchell, and he'll score. Not too tough a task for Conley. Hand it off to your big tailback. Mitchell, his second rushing touchdown of the season.
Big man push-ups in there a little bit.
Pfeiffer
was on the ground. Boston College right there. You see Jamin Muse coming off the edge. He had the ability to tackle the running back. You got to know the situation in the game. Back of quarterback's in. He's sure he's going to hand the ball off. You got to just go for that. A really good drive. Louisville responded well to that Boston College touchdown. Drove all the way down the field. Malik Cunningham, a bunch of huge runs. And then capped it off with a Jalen Mitchell handoff for 6 points. This will tie the game up.
Turner does just that with the PAT. 10-10 here, 3:45 left to go in this first half. We got a college basketball doubleheader this Tuesday on the ACC Network. Presented by Geico, 4 Eastern, St. Francis meets number 4 Virginia. Then at 6, Western Kentucky taking on Louisville. A couple of rivals there. Also available on the ESPN app as well as on the ACC Network. Basketball starting up.
Yeah, Louisville's they had some really good years recently in basketball. Excited to see them back on the hard court. So got to catch a Boston College game.
Yeah, recently. Boston College in the throwback uniforms I saw. Boston College is pretty good this year too. Watch out for BC. Got my first game on Wednesday coming up. Troy and Wake Forest. Lawrence Joel.
Yeah, well, Chris, basketball is big in the NBA level too right now. They've got a lot of guys signing some big contract deals, and none bigger than Mr. Donovan Mitchell, former Louisville guard. And look at that number at the bottom there. Agrees to 5-year, $195 million contract extension on Sunday.
That's E-Wood money right there. Dang.
Yeah. My man probably had a pretty good Thanksgiving dinner.
195. No.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for you, man. Get whatever they're willing to pay you. Here's Levy. All-purpose back for Boston College. Carries it out to the 30. 3:39 left in this first half for Phil Jakovic in this Eagle offense.
Not quite in the 2-minute offense yet. Usually you hit that around 3 minutes, but you start off these end of the half, end of the game drives usually with a screen or a draw or a run just to kind of see where you're at. But then look for Phil Jakovic to work the ball down the field. Might have a little autonomy in terms of play calling if they have to go hurry up at some point. But right now they're starting out with their 2 big tight ends and their big running back in the backfield.
Jakovic to fake to Levy. He'll throw. Has time. Now the pocket collapses. Finds Levy, who has a lot of room. He'll get to midfield and more. A lot more. 40, 35. Carrying a defender down to the 24.
Talk about off-script plays. Phil Jakovic goes off-script with this one. Little pump fake, moves out of the pressure and just finds his check down. This is a West Coast style offense. They have a 1, 2, 3 to check down read. Everyone was covered, going to check down for 46.
And now trying to move quickly. Garwo on the carry, picks up about 4. Dorian Etheridge, one of the team captains of this Louisville defense, on the stop. Did Garwo 3 on first down.
BC is currently in field goal range for their kicker, Boumeri. Pretty much the entire playbook's open for them right now. And as you see, number 7, Monty Montgomery, check into the game on defense for Louisville. You got to think that he's a pressure guy. Send him on a blitz.
Bailey cuts it back inside. Almost skirted through that tackle, could not. Still a first down for BC.
Yeah, and they did. They brought him on a blitz. Monty Montgomery. Look at the cross dog by the middle linebackers, led by Dorian Etheridge up front. And Monty Montgomery just wasn't able to get downhill after coming over top, and big hole for the running back to pick up first down. And I mean, it's a huge improvement for Boston College offensive line. They have not been as successful running the football, especially in the red zone this year.
Again, double tight ends. Lewis in motion. Bailey met in the backfield but spins off a tackle. Flag down as Bailey just gets what he can. That's about 2 yards. Let's check the laundry. Stuart Mullins has been quiet tonight. Haven't heard much from him. Our referee. This looks like it's going to go against Boston College.
Illegal formation. More than 4 players in the backfield. Offense. 5-yard penalty. Second down.
That'll go against Coach Hafley and his offense.
Repeat. First down.
First and goal.
You see this a lot in college football where you have unbalanced line of scrimmage. They had only 2 offensive linemen, a guard and a tackle to the left side of the center, and just not able to get everybody on the line of scrimmage. Result in first down and long. You see at the top of your screen, split all the way out. Hunter Long, number 80. Let's see if he motions in. He does.
Now Flowers in motion for Kovic. Looks like he wants to come back to Flowers and does. Then he would have been better just to let that one drop. He catches it, but that is a loss on the play as that one was well defended by the Cards.
Yeah, it was well defended, and that kind of got locked into the play call. Really risky throw to throw it all the way back, and it could have been a backwards pass even. It looked like Jurkovic had his 2 tight ends down the field open in the end zone.
Second and goal now from the 21. BC going the opposite direction that they want to go in. Long in motion here, bottom near side. Levy out of the backfield. Gets down to the 10. They picked up about half the yardage he needed to. C.J. Avery on the stop.
The clock will stop. Just went out of bounds, and so at this point, third and goal, you got to try to at least take a shot towards the end zone. Anytime you see number 23 in the game at running back, you got to believe it's going to be pass to get him out. He's probably the best in terms of pass pro, but also the best pass catcher at the running back position. And look towards the bottom of the screen, number 80, lined up right next to Ohio State transfer Jalen Gill.
Kovic over the middle. Incomplete, defended nicely by Marlon Character.
Great play by Marlon Character, and Boston College creates a little bunch set at the bottom of the screen, and just a quick corner stop route by Jalen Gill, but really good job of playing flat-footed by Marlon Character and breaking on the ball once the ball was released. That's a really, really good goal line stand by Louisville to keep them in this game.
Character, senior from Grady High School, downtown Atlanta, making the stop. So Pumeri on once again, this time from 27 yards out. He puts it through. Boston College regains the lead. 13-10 here, so 30 seconds left in the first half. Mark, what do you think that this coaching staffer, Scott Satterfield, what do you think they're talking about right now? 30 seconds. They want to be conservative, or you think they want to try and see what they can do?
I don't think they're going to be conservative. I know Scott Satterfield doesn't want to be conservative. Before half, a few weeks back against Virginia Tech, yes, they did have Javion Hawkins in that game, but they handed them the ball on an outside sweep, and he went for 90 yards and scored a touchdown before half. So when you've had success like that, it's hard for a coach to take his headset off and just call it into halftime. So I'm anticipating a little bit of a shot depending upon how Malik Cunningham is feeling.
Danny Longman to kick off after a 7-play, 60-yard drive for BC that took up just a little over 3 minutes off the clock. Mary's field goal giving the Eagles the lead. Hassan Hall now from his 3. Nice job by Boston College on kick coverage. Drop him at the 20. Halftime coming your way in just a little bit. Don't forget, tune into Packer and Durham each and every weekday morning right here on the ACC Network. They'll have the latest news and info from around the ACC. Special guests from around the world of sports. Weekdays at 7 a.m. Eastern on the ACC Network and also on that ESPN app.
Special guests like Chris Cotter, right, Chris?
Well, if I was on that show, it would be really special because I'm never on that show.
been asking for weeks and weeks and weeks just to get one spot on that show. Got to make that happen.
Malik Cunningham coming back. Just to see what they do here with 26 seconds left in the first half from their own 20. He's looking to throw. Fitzpatrick. He's trying to make something happen on first down. This clock will temporarily stop with the first down. They have 3 timeouts on the board. E. Wood, what do you got for us?
Yeah, Malik Cunningham left that last series with a wrist injury. He went to the sideline. The trainers addressed it, but he did not even need to go to the injury tent. It'll be interesting to see as the game goes on if Scott Satterfield starts letting Malik start sliding, since he's taken so many shots so far in this game.
Well, you're right. It's a good point. We've already mentioned that that's a rule. You can't slide, but he's going to need Cunningham here in the second half if he's going to want to come away with a road win here at BC. Tried to hit Justin Marshall near midfield and just weren't quite on the same page. So now second down and 10 with 10 seconds left, Mark. I don't know. I mean, I feel like you're really rolling the dice here.
Yeah, you want to try to spread. Boston College is spread out defensively. Try to hit one deep over the middle of the field or just hand the ball off.
I think discretion was the better part of valor there, as Mitchell carries it for about 4 yards, and the clock ticks down to triple zeros. 13-10 our halftime score. Both teams taking advantage of turnovers there in the first half to put points on the board. But with all that said, you got to think it was a pretty decent defensive effort for both teams too.
Yeah, it was, and I think especially by Louisville, they were able to play downhill. Yes, they got hurt on certain runs, but really haven't allowed the deep ball to get thrown over their heads yet. And then defensively for Boston College, it's just all about containing Malik Cunningham. When he's not limping or hurts his wrist, I mean, he has been biting off big chunks on the ground against this Boston College defense.
Eric Wood standing by with Coach Hafley. Eric?
Coach, offensive line's off to a great start in this game. Talk about their play so far.
Yeah, I think the offense in general is off to a really good start. I mean, we're moving the ball right down the field. We fumbled the one on the sneak, which you guys saw I wasn't very happy about. We had the guy wide open in the red zone, and then we got a penalty, self-inflicted. The offense is doing a great job. We just got to score touchdowns.
Hold Louisville to 10 points in the first half. What did you see from your defense?
I thought the defense did a nice job standing up, creating takeaways like we have all year. Like I told you earlier, we got to stop the quarterback from running the ball, and we didn't do a good enough job there, so we'll fix that.
Thanks, Coach.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Cunningham, 74 yards rushing on 7 carries in that first half, but it's BC with the lead. State Farm halftime report coming your way after these messages. You're watching ACC Network Football presented by Dr. Pepper. Mark Hertzlich, Eric Wood, Chris Cotter here in Chestnut Hill. That's the res. Am I right? Is that the res? No. You tell me, Mark.
Yeah, that's the res. That's the res.
Okay, we walked the res.
We did.
13-10 the scores. We get set to start the second half. Let's look at our New York Life drive recap, and it was a turnover again costing Louisville points.
Yeah, as Louisville was driving downfield, it's a really good catch over the middle, just couldn't hold on to the ball. There should be a caution sign out there, slippery when wet, because this field has been slick, the ball has been slick, but you don't need to worry about weather conditions when you have a battering ram like number 26. That put Boston College up 7-3. And a pair of field goals after that, Boston College with the 10-13 lead over Louisville.
Yeah, look at that points off turnovers. It's the same story this game as it has been all year for Louisville. They lose the turnover battle 2-1 in that first half, and Boston College takes full advantage with the 10 points to give them this lead as we head to the second half. Look at the numbers, though. A lot of yards put up by both teams. In rushing yards, it's amazing. Boston College averages 104 yards on the ground on this season, and they have 104 yards in just one half here tonight. So Coach Signetti, the offensive coordinator, really emphasizing that running game with a lot of success in the first half for the Eagles. And they'll get the ball to start the second half as Brock Travelstead puts it into play for Louisville. Levy from the 10. This is one of the upbacks, actually, for Boston College, taking it up to about the 31-yard line. Eric Wood, what do you got for us?
I talked to Coach Satterfield coming out of the half, and he emphasized what you were just talking about, Chris. He said Louisville has got to hold on to the football offensively. They have to quit turning the ball over defensively. He said they got to get some stops. He was not happy with how much BC was able to control the football in the first half.
Significant opportunity for his defense to make a stop here as Boston College comes out once again with David Bailey. He had 37 yards rushing and a score in that first half. Fake to Bailey. Dracovic now over the middle, hits his receiver. Nice pitch and catch as Jalen Gill makes his first catch of the night.
Jalen Gill's coming off a 100-yard performance last time out versus Notre Dame. He's a guy transferred in from Ohio State, got immediate eligibility, and he picked up the offense pretty fast. He's really come into his own the last few games, but good to see him get that touch early in this second half.
Bailey, boy, huge hole to run through. Already got to the second level and a big gain, about 12 yards before Avery was able to bring him down. So a chunk gain for Bailey, and they're already just like that into Louisville territory.
Not a lot of production through the air for these tight ends, but the way they've been moving Hunter Long and Spencer Witter around formationally, getting them coming back on seal blocks, that really sprung that last play. And when you talk to the coaches about Hunter Long and about Spencer Witter, said, look, they do a lot in the pass catching, but they are so good blocking for these running backs.
Pressure on the edge. Dracovic gets rid of it. Complete inside the 25. Zay Flowers is on the receiving end, and the pressure just getting to Dracovic, but he gets rid of it.
I don't know how he got this ball off. I thought he held it for a split second too long. But you see Yazir Abdullah come off the edge, and it really seems like he's just able to find Zay Flowers over the middle of the field late so often. And Zay Flowers only 5'11", not a huge wide receiver, but he's a guy who comes back to the football and is a security blanket for Dracovic.
Yeah, 5 targets and 5 catches on the game for Flowers for 75 yards. And he had a big 30-yard run as well. A little bit of pressure for Louisville. Picked up nicely, though. Dracovic inside the 5. Tight end Spencer Witter puts BC in business, 1st and goal.
Yeah, and Spencer Witter's another big guy, 6'5", 240. And he just runs a deep crossing route, gets matched up on Rusty East, the safety, and able to come down with the ball. And big boy football again. 1st and goal.
That is a scrum. They blow this one dead. I'm sure BC coaches are saying, well, you blew that one dead awfully quickly. Why didn't you blow the fumble we had in the first half dead when we were down there inside the 5-yard line?
Yeah, I'm sure that conversation has taken place. Let's see if Eric Wood is right and they try to cut out the legs of the center. QB sneak potential.
Just going to give us the big back, and Bailey goes over the top, and he scores.
So good to see David Bailey get on the boards, his 2nd touchdown in 2 weeks. He's a guy who, again, we talk about waiting patiently. At one point in the season, Jeff Hafley talked to him and said, look, you're going to get your game where you get 30 carries. And he capitalized on it versus Syracuse, making hay so far in this game. And fantastic job going over top, scoring 2nd touchdown of the day.
Blumeri on for the try for the Eagles. Good snap, good hold, kick is good. Boston College takes the opening kickoff here in the second half, marches downfield. They increase their lead, up 10. We'll look at our Zaxby's stat sheet, and we look at our quarterback comparison on the day. Dracovic going over 200 passing yards, effective when he needs to be with his feet. And there you see Cunningham has been banged up a couple of times, but still is able to run the football. 74 yards for him, 96 through the air. That's our Zaxby's first half stat and the quarterback comparison. Longman, with the kickoff. The 20-yard line, and that's where Boston College will take over.
Well, Mikhail Cunningham, Louisville will take over the ball. Boston College will go out on defense, but when Mikhail Cunningham comes on the field, Malik Cunningham, sorry, used to be called Mikhail Cunningham. When Malik Cunningham comes on the field, I think we're going to really see how injured he is, how injured his wrist is if he tries to shy away from some of the contact on the runs. But as you saw those stats from Zaxby, he's absolutely effective on both the air and the ground in the first half.
Fitzpatrick on the receiving end, Cunningham sharp in that first passing attempt of the second half, 12 yards.
If I'm Louisville, that middle of the field, right behind the linebackers, is where I want to throw a lot of these passes. Boston College, especially when they have 3 linebackers, number 28 on the field, they're playing a lot of cover 3 defense, and that middle of the field can be open.
It's open here for Hassan Hall, bounces off a tackler, gives him another 3-4 yards.
Good job by the pulling guard coming around. That's number 75, Robbie Bell, with a good kick out block, and good job by Hassan Hall, who came into this season being one of the leading return men in terms of kickoff and punt returns, and with Javion Hawkins down, getting an opportunity at running back.
Now out of the backfield, Hall tries to spin out of a tackle and cannot. John Lamont out of his linebacker spot. Nice job in pursuit.
Talk about moving the ball well. I mean, just both of these teams have really stayed in front of the chains. Not a lot of lost yardage plays. Being able to pick up yardage on first down. I mean, this is exactly what both of these offensive coordinators have scripted up, and we'll kind of see which either defense breaks or steps up to the challenge.
Pick up just a couple on first down. Lamont again with the stop. Bringing down Marshawn Ford. First time we've mentioned Marshawn Ford, their electric tight end for Louisville. Comes in with 21 catches on the year.
Yeah, and he was out last week. He was injured, so you're wondering if maybe he's getting a little bit less playing time or less action because of that. But we're told he's healthy. He was a former walk-on guy, and turned into team captain. It was funny when we talked to Scott Satterfield. We said, Marshawn Ford's kind of the Swiss Army knife of our team, and when we told him that, he didn't even know what a Swiss Army knife was. I guess it's a little generational, Chris.
Pass a little behind Ford that time from Cunningham, as he's been really efficient on this drive, but off target there, bringing up 3rd and 8.
Right around middle of the field. This is potential 4-down territory if you pick up 6 yards and brings up 4th and 2. Boston College with their special 3rd down package in, bringing an extra DB on the field and their pass rushers on the outside.
Cardinals 3 of 5 on 3rd down today. BC spying a little bit with Cunningham, but he eludes it anyways and picks up the first down. They brought Ford, left the spy out there, and Cunningham still made a miss.
Spies are ineffective against guys like Malik Cunningham. I mean, when you play against a guy like a Michael Vick or a Malik Cunningham or Lamar Jackson, spies don't work because those guys are faster than your spies. So you really got to just rush to the level of the quarterback, and even spy 2 guys who just play back up in zone. But just a great job, Malik Cunningham, understanding the pressure is coming, that he had a lane to run the ball, and picked up the first down.
On the option, Cunningham. This time he got down a little bit, sensed the pressure was coming. Good pickup. I wouldn't call that was that a slide? Like Pete Rose head first slide?
No, don't tell Satterfield it was a slide. This was a fall down. Good job freezing the defender. Right, yeah, he fell down. Tripped. Turf monster got him.
Good pickup of 7 yards on first down. Good drive here and an answer for Louisville.
I expect a shot on 2nd and short here. Maybe Fitzpatrick down the bottom of the screen.
Cunningham rolling to his right. Good call on that one. It was Tutu Atwell, not Fitzpatrick, but still a big gain for Louisville.
Yeah, that plus area territory, 2nd and short. It's basically a throwaway down. Oh my
Great
gosh!
Pass. Look at that. Perfect. He just got the. I think he got both feet in, even if you go to the left foot.
I think you're right, and really it's passes like that Malik Cunningham is so good at. He's able to put the ball in front of his receivers and really gauge the speed to hit his guys in stride. Loves Tutu Atwell on those big crossing routes.
a 26-yard play, 1st and goal. Really spread wide on that option. Dangerous pitch, but Hassan Hall was able to pick it up and pick up a couple before Jamin Moose pushed him out of bounds.
Well, Chris, we talked about in the first half, this play was open. There was one defender covering 2 guys, but it was into the boundary. You made that point. This time they ran into the field, had a little more space for that pitch. And good job by Scott Satterfield and offensive coordinator Dwayne Ledford to recognize it and go back to that play.
Pick up a 3 on 1st down, 2nd and goal. Cunningham rolling to his right, has a receiver in the end zone and overshoots Fitzpatrick. Flag on the play.
There's a holding call, possibly on the defense.
Prior to the pass, holding.
What, me?
Number 8, defense. Half the distance to the goal and an automatic. 1st down.
According to Stuart Mullins, our referee tonight, yes. It's on Moose.
As a defender, anytime you get a flag thrown and you initially point to yourself, like, wait, that was on me? Like, probably was on you. Most likely.
He's still shaking his head. Let's take a look at it.
Yeah, Muse was lined up on the slot receiver at the top of the screen, and Tutu Atwell just comes out like it's a run fake, like he's run blocking, and it slips to the outside. A little bit of a grab, not a ton, but
a little bit of a grab. Cunningham trying to do it on his own, falls forward to the 2. And it'll be 2nd down and goal after that holding call gave Louisville a fresh set of downs. Deion Jones was there to make the stop.
You heard the Boston College sideline erupt. There was a little twitch by the running back in the backfield right before the ball was snapped. They were calling for a false start penalty. Now 2nd and goal, you got to be looking for number 83, Marshawn Ford. They ran the ball a couple times. Wouldn't be surprised for a play action.
Oh, big play. Look at Brandon Barlow coming in and bringing down the ball carrier in the backfield.
Great play by Barlow, understanding that got to follow this tight end. Tight end should have looped around and picked him up on a little chip block, but great job getting upfield. TFL, and this brings up 3rd and goal, and it's been run so far for Louisville. See if they keep the ball in Malik Cunningham's hands in a run-pass option situation.
BC coming with pressure. Cunningham just cannot connect with Atwell, and it'll bring up 4th down.
Good coverage on the outside by Josh DeBerry, but it was aided by the blitz that Tem Lukabu called up in the middle. You see number 5 on the delayed blitz, and just even the presence of that maroon jersey in Malik Cunningham's face made him understand, look, I got to throw the ball. Just wasn't able to get it out there enough to Tutu Atwell, and now Louisville will line up for a 24-yard field goal.
Turner puts a toe into it and splits the uprights. Flag on the play. Let's check that before we go to break. That's going to go against Boston College.
So it's going out of the sides.
Running into the kicker now. Our referee, Stuart Mullins, is going to speak to Coach Satterfield about what his options are here.
You can probably take it and then try to run a 2-point play, or you can enforce it on the kickoff. No reason for 2 points rather than 1 in this situation.
Well, it's either a field goal or a 1st down.
Oh, yeah, you're right. True.
Running into the kicker, number 10, defense. The penalties decline. Field goal's good.
They wouldn't have gotten the 1st down anyway, even with the penalty, so they would have tried the field goal again. It's a moot point. Louisville closes the gap, now trailing by 7. Let's take a look at James Turner's kick here with Brandon Sebastian rolling into him. Now, this was a 5-yard penalty declined by Louisville, Mark. What do you think? This was close to 15.
Yeah, you know, it's kind of semantics when it comes to what they're looking for, but the fact that the kicker was able to land with his plant foot and then was contacted afterward, I think that's what the officials saw, and they saw that kicked foot be contacted. So, you know, it could have gone either way, but if a kicker is able to land and be stable and then is hit, usually it's a running in rather than a roughing the kicker penalty.
At this point, counts as 3. And Louisville, after an answer drive with Boston College's touchdown, stays within 1 score here in the third quarter. A rapidly moving third quarter. High kick taken at the 30, fair catch, and that's where Boston College will take over here at the 31. Got college basketball doubleheader coming your way this Tuesday. ACC Network Basketball presented by Geico. 4 Eastern, St. Francis taking on 4th-ranked Virginia. Then at 6, Western Kentucky, the Hilltoppers taking on Louisville. Both on the ACC Network and also on the ESPN app, if you feel so inclined to check it out there. Malik Cunningham had 64 total yards on that last drive. Phil Dracovic, let's see what he can do with an answer here. Flowers in motion. Play fake to Levy. Just a short dump off, and Character is there again to prevent that completion. Levy was the intended receiver.
Marlon Character had a really good break on the ball, and Dracovic went down hard. Just grabbing his knee a little bit, see if he's all right after we take a break.
Take a look at this play where Dracovic was injured last time out. And it looked like right there, Mark, non-contact when he tried to plant on that left foot, and he hurt the knee right here.
Yeah, that step right there as he's trying to get his foot planted. You see, he's ginger. I thought maybe he got his toe stepped on to start, but no, he's down behind the tent right now because there's another Boston College player being checked out in the tent, and so we'll see Dennis Grossel.
He's Grossel. Push pass to Zay Flowers on his first attempt, so an easy completion.
Yeah, that's not the exact type of completion you got a guy in rhythm with, but it works. We started 7 games last year, and he actually came off the bench last year versus Louisville when Anthony Brown got hurt and had 3 touchdown passes in that game. So it's kind of deja vu for Grossel, and we'll see how he fares in this matchup.
Yeah, just under 6 minutes to play here in the third quarter with BC up 7. Looking to extend this drive from their own 39 in a 3rd and 3. Flags down, or whistles rather,
timeout
before the
Boston
snap,
College.
and BC's going to call a timeout.
Yeah, probably
just
good
to talk
call.
things over right now.
It's going to be a 30-second timeout.
Yeah, I think Frank Signetti and Jeff Hafley looked at Dennis Grossel and then had some eyes on Ethan Williams and Jalen Hill, who were on the outside at wide receiver with their palms towards the sky, being like, I'm not sure what the play call is. And it happens sometimes when you're communicating through a backup quarterback, and one who has not got a lot of time this year, only 1 pass attempt until this last pass attempt where he basically did another shovel pass earlier in the season.
Well, we've got a moment. Women's basketball returns Sunday afternoon. Got a triple header for you tomorrow here on the ACC Network. At noon Eastern, Florida meets Florida State. Then another in-state rivalry. Georgia and Georgia Tech. We're going to cap off the day in South Bend. Number 22 Notre Dame and new head coach Neil Ivey hosting Miami of Ohio. All 3 on both the ACC Network and on the ESPN app. Third down and 3. Dracovic injured his knee a couple of plays ago. Dennis Grossel now in at quarterback. Tried to hit Hunter Long, incomplete, and Boston College now forced to punt. So a real change in momentum here in this game with 5:33 left to go in the third quarter.
Yeah, it was a rare drop for Hunter Long. You had to imagine the ball is probably going to go his way. He's such a big target for your backup quarterback. Pretty good pass, a little high, just dropped. And, at this point, momentum's in Louisville's favor. Lee Cunningham looks like he's healthy again and making some plays down the field.
Grant Carlson, first punt of the game for either team. Here late in the third quarter, Rajay Burns with the fair catch at his own 13, and that's where Louisville will take over, trailing by 7.
And right now, if I'm Scott Satterfield, I need to understand the momentum game. Understand that Boston College, the defense just saw their number 5 quarterback walk past them, that he was injured, that he was limping. This defense is going to be pressing a little bit right now, trying to make a play of their own. So I think it's a really good time for a play-action pass, a deep ball downfield, try to capitalize on this momentum shift.
Mitchell bangs his way to a first down. McDuffie was there to bring him down, but Mitchell's a big, powerful back. Jalen Mitchell, they say he's the strongest back of anybody in this running back room. He just has to figure out all the pieces to the position. He looked good on that first down run. This time just runs into a stone wall of BC tacklers.
Yeah, Jalen Mitchell, only a redshirt freshman out of Florida. His next progression in his game is going to be lowering his pad level just a little bit. He runs very upright, and you get a lot of tackles like that where someone can get him around the waist. You have less contact area for a defender to tackle when you lower your pads a little bit.
Again to give to Mitchell. Trying to stretch it outside, looking for that cutback, and it just isn't there. Barlow and Valdez from the defensive end spots making the tackle after just a 2-yard gain. Eric, what do you got for us?
Yeah, watch Boston College on this third down. So they've just brought in all of their pass rushers, and they will get in these exotic pass rush looks. This is inspired by Mike Pettin, who Heffley worked under. He was a defensive coordinator for us in Buffalo during my time there. It's always fun watching these blitz pressures.
We're bringing some pressure here. Cunningham has a wide open lane, though, when he takes it. Midfield, spins his way down to the 45.
Wow. Well, Eric, I hope you didn't call these pressures versus Lamar Jackson, because sometimes when you bring pressure, you get all the guys on one level. I mean, this can happen. And I mean, I am so wary of bringing pressure against guys that can make plays like this, because you're just out of one gap and he is gone. But really kind of interesting the way the coaches pick from each other. Usually that third down defense is good for Boston College.
Pump fake for Cunningham. He's going deep down the left side. Receiver very well covered. Josh DeBerry was all over Fitzpatrick. Josh DeBerry was actually looking for a call, maybe.
Yeah, Des Fitzpatrick, has the size advantage, 6'2", 210 over the little bit shorter 5'11" DeBerry, but DeBerry has really progressed this season. We've watched a couple of their games, Chris, and just watching his ability to improve and go up against these bigger wide receivers and have good ball position and ball skills. He's a guy who's only a true sophomore. He's going to have a bright future at the heights of Boston College.
Cunningham slips on that turf. Eric Wood's been talking about it all night. Just a little bit slippery. We had a little bit of rain just prior to our start, and it made that track slippery. And all game long, these players from both teams have been struggling with their footing.
Yeah, again, I talked to Satterfield about that coming out of the half, and he said it was a little bit of the rain, but he said on film he saw a lot of people slipping on this Boston College turf. So it could be something with the footing with this field.
Well, now it's a 3rd and 11 for this Louisville team after Cunningham looked like he might have had at least a little bit of room to run on that last play, but went down on his own. Mitchell in the backfield with him. BC bringing pressure. Cunningham can't connect with his receiver. There's 21 again. DeBerry breaking it up.
Josh DeBerry matched up against Tutu Atwell in the slot. It's pure man-to-man. Bring pressure up the middle with Jamin Muse. Good job at the top of the route, keeping your eyes through the receiver onto the quarterback, getting that left arm in front. That is a big, big third down stop, and Louisville reluctantly is sending their punt team onto the field.
Well, after no punts in the first 2.5 quarters, now back-to-back punts. 12 possessions without any punts. Carlson first for Boston College. And now Louisville. With Logan Lupo will punt this one away. Gill at his 16, fair catch. Now with an injury update on what's going on with both these teams. Eric Wood, what do you got for us?
Yeah, for Boston College, they're going to be without their starting quarterback, Phil Dracovic, for the rest of the game. It was an obvious knee injury that we got to see on that replay. And then also, I'm told, David Bailey is going to be out, and they're hopeful for his return, but he has an upper body injury. So they're going to be with backups at quarterback and running back for the foreseeable future.
All right, that's very interesting with Bailey joining Dracovic on the sideline. There's Dracovic with a headset on. That's never a good sign. Looks like it could be Grossel's game here the rest of the way. Here handing off to Levy. Give him about 3 or 4 on first down.
Chris, I think one encouraging thing just of that shot of Dracovic on the sideline is he's up and moving around with a headset on. Usually if it's a serious knee injury, you got guys, icing up right away with their legs lifted up. So, hopefully that's a good sign for Boston College fans, but not a good sign that he's not back on the field. And as Eric said, probably not for the rest of this game.
Grossel has experience, though, as you mentioned last year. And Brown was injured at quarterback for Boston College. Finds Flowers, who's met immediately, but a great job by Flowers hanging on. Character there again in tight coverage. And the two share a word with each other, pleasantries.
Yeah, I'm sure they were very pleasantries. They're still going a little bit. But Marlon Character, just that's recognition. That's game plan prep, that's studying film, understanding that flat route is going to be thrown right away. He's a guy just with pro potential. He's a senior, 6'1", 195, a bigger cornerback who can hit and he can cover. He's a guy that we might be seeing playing on Sundays come next year.
3rd down and 1 for BC. Cards show pressure off the edge. Grossel keeps it and has all kinds of room in front of him. Midfield. 40. Down to the 30. Listen to his teammates. You can hear him on the sideline. That is not his game, but he looked pretty good on that play.
I had to check my stat sheet, Chris. I said, is this guy fast? He was running away from some linebackers from Russ Yeast. And then watch, this is Top Gun. Whoop. Hit the brakes, let him fly right by. Yow!
No one's going to mistake him for Zay Flowers in terms of ankle breaking ability there, but a big 44-yard run for Grossel has Boston College back in business.
Crossing route, play action, much. Nope.
They give it to the running back. And that's Levy, who's going to get a lot more carries now with David Bailey potentially out for the rest of the game. We'll see a lot more Levy and Pat Garwo. Could be and will be the final play of the third quarter. Dracovic applauding the play of his backup, Dennis Grossel. Now in the game and at the helm for BC. Eagles with the lead and driving as we enter the 4th quarter. Dennis Grossel, backup quarterback for Boston College, at the helm after Dracovic went out with an injury. Trying to lead the Eagles here to a win in the 4th quarter. Play action. Overshoots his receiver out of the backfield. That was Levy, the intended receiver. Flag down.
Personal foul, roughing the passer. Number 6, defense, blow to the quarterback's head. 15-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Yaya Diaby.
Interesting. Yaya Diaby was out for a few weeks. He's healthy now and he's back. So, shot to the quarterback's helmet with his hand. Obviously, he's a defenseless player in that situation. He's in the pocket, but it was not a physical blow, which would have made it targeting.
Claiming he was held.
Yep.
He may have a gripe there, but the officials saw the shot to the head, and it's a first down for Boston College.
Another unbalanced set for Boston College. Everybody towards the bottom of the screen.
Fake to Levy. Grossel try to connect with a very well-covered Zay Flowers by Keitrell Clark. Flowers is talking to everybody on the other side. Clark, Character,
We interviewed him a couple weeks back. He said, "I'm not a talker. I'm not a big talker on the field." I said, "I watch these games. I know you're talking. You're saying something." He refused to say what his trash talking skills were like. But he's not owning up to them. They're probably pretty good.
Equal opportunity trash talker. 2nd down and 10 for BC. Good look at Flowers, sophomore from Fort Lauderdale. Bringing that South Florida speed up here. Give to Levy. Another flag. Several flags now on the field on this play.
Personal foul, face mask, number 93, defense.
Wow.
Half the distance to the goal and an automatic first down.
Mark, we've had very few flags in the first 3 quarters of this game, and then on this drive alone, 2 personal fouls against Louisville, extending this drive.
You see 93 in the middle of the screen. You see how his hand just gets caught up in the helmet. They're grabbing for anything, and he's in a lot because Goldwire and Desmond Tell are out, so getting some action right now. Just got his hand high. 1st and goal for Boston College.
Jared Dawson, guilty party on that 2nd personal foul call against Louisville on this drive. So as you mentioned, Mark, 1st and goal from the 6. Familiar formation here with double tights in the bottom of the screen. Now another whistle.
Delay of game. Offense. 5-yard penalty. First down.
And again, if you're just tuning in, Dennis Grossell is running this offense for Boston College after starter Phil Jerkovic went out with a knee injury late in the 3rd quarter. Grossell's made some plays, including a 44-yard run, which took about 44 seconds off the clock before it was finally brought down.
Oh. What do you run the 40 in? About 40?
It was effective. Now on play action, has all day to throw into the end zone. Broken up again by Character. What a game Marlon Character is having.
Oh, fantastic job. And he's been so good at understanding the route combinations on the outside by the wide receivers. And Dennis Grossell, great protection from the offensive line up front. But right as he starts that little pump fake and eyeing that wide receiver on the outside, Character breaks on it, just unable to intercept the ball. And Brian Brown, he said, "Look, I got some defensive backs who like playing volleyball rather than football. They just bat the ball away. We got to start catching some of these and getting some turnovers of our own."
Grossell, fade pattern. Oh, what a catch! C.J. Lewis with the one-handed catch in the corner for the score.
Wow, that was a fantastic play. Kind of surprised there wasn't offensive pass interference. It looks like he just threw Keitrell Clark to the ground before that ball landed in his breadbasket. Grossell lobs it up there. Watch it, just kind of slips right by him. Not as much contact as I originally thought, more of an Olay movement. Straight out of Ferdinand the Bull, one of my son's favorite movies. Olay! Touchdown.
Umeri with the PAT and maybe the catch of the year for BC. Grossell getting it done from the quarterback spot. He's got Lewis in the end zone for 6, too. The former quarterback commit at Tennessee, C.J. Lewis, showing he has made that transition complete from quarterback to receiver with a phenomenal one-handed catch in the corner of the end zone from that man right there. Dennis Grossell and Boston College now with a 14-point lead over Louisville. 8 plays, 84 yards in 3 minutes and 46 seconds. So a big drive here at the early moments of the 4th quarter for BC. Hassan Hall from his 9. Following his blockers. Can't break free, though. He'll be dropped down at the 21. Let's take a look at our Bojangles big Bo moments. And it was Grossell going 44 yards like a scalded cat. Look at that move. And that one. Turning Russ East into circles. Yeah, first down, Dennis. And then the touchdown catch. Unbelievable.
Tell you what, can't remind you enough times, Dennis Grosel last year came in off the bench versus Louisville, threw for 3 touchdowns in a narrow defeat, but he is picking up right where he left off.
Mitchell showing the power in the lower body as he drags the defender for a yard or 2. That defender was Brandon Barlow, the defensive end for Boston College, picks up 6.
Get a good look at that big running back there. They got a couple big guys. You know, Hassan Hall, number 19, is their speedy guy, but we've yet to see Aiden Robbins, the redshirt freshman, but he's 6'3", 230. A couple big guys in this backfield.
Now Cunningham to throw, has plenty of time and has a receiver in Fitzpatrick. Throws up his hands like, this is easy, I'm wide open.
Well, Boston College came out in another cover 3 coverage, and that's really the dead spot of the coverage, right behind the flat defender, right in front of the deep third cornerback. And if that continues to be a trend for Boston College, look for maybe 4 verticals, stress that middle post safety, or those out routes at about 10, 15 yards.
Cunningham looking to run. Pump fake, flag down as Cunningham gets into Boston College territory and gets an extra 5, 6 before stepping out of bounds. But let's check that flag.
Personal foul. Illegal use of hands to the face, number 74 offense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
Adonis Boone, that is another tough penalty against Louisville. So in the first half, Mark, you had 2 turnovers for Louisville that cost them 10 points off turnovers for BC. In the second half, particularly here over the last few minutes, penalties have really hurt Louisville.
Yeah, they have, and you saw that one there, gets his hands up near the face, but it was really that extension of the left arm where he threw Valdez down to the ground. That's why he got called for it.
He has 2 personal fouls. Their last defensive possession when BC scored, 2 personal fouls on that drive, and now this one negates a 9-yard run just as Louisville was starting to get into a rhythm offensively.
Yeah, you're right. And at least they haven't been dumb penalties, right? They've all been penalties, cost of doing business type things, but they do need to cut them out because they're backed up now, 1st and 25, got a long way to go to pick up this first.
Mitchell trying to pick up a big chunk of it here, spins outside. And big old Cam Horsley was there to bring him down from that defensive tackle spot.
Yeah, Cam Horsley is a true freshman out of New Jersey. When you look at this defensive line for Boston College, they really didn't have a ton of guys coming back from last year, and they picked up 3 guys in the transfer portal, 2 of them being defensive tackles, and Chibuzi Onwuka and Luke Beckett, who started 38 games at Cal last year.
Pressure on the edge, picked up. Over the middle, complete. That's Fitzpatrick again. Sheeta Salah on the stop.
Good job just getting the ball out to the middle of the field, and even better turn with the ball. Fitzpatrick get upfield, but just these short passes, these underneath passes, not really what you're used to seeing from a Louisville offense, but it's effective, and they're picking apart the Boston College zone so far in this quarter.
3rd and 4. Cunningham, will he run it? Try and get there on his own. He cannot, but I'll ask you here, Salah with the sack. Are we in 4-down territory here at midfield?
Officials timeout for an injured player.
Let's see who the injured player is. It's a Louisville Cardinal. We'll get you details on that when we come back. 4th down for the Cards when we come back.
For a close shave, you need to get a razor and lather up. For a quick shave on the go, you need to settle for an electric. But what if you really want both? Nick Bolton here with the newest addition to our tactical line, the Bell & Howell Tax Shaver. Designed with the needs of our military in mind, Tax Shaver gives you a quick, razor-smooth shave, whether you're at home or on the go. It even has a built-in trimmer for sideburns and beards. And it works wet or dry for a great shave in even the harshest conditions. That's right, the Tax Shaver is completely waterproof. In fact, you could even use a tack shaver underwater and still get a great shave. Navy guys, tack shaver is small and compact, so it slips easily into any pocket. Yet it also has 3 powerful rotary heads that can easily take on even the coarsest hair. To prove it, I'm going to do something I never do. Shave. As you can see, it easily handled even my stubborn stubble. Now that's what I call military tough. So let's review. Tack shaver gives you a quick, razor-smooth shave, features a built-in trimmer, works wet or dry, even underwater, and has 3 powerful shaving heads. I mean, there's just nothing like it on the market today.
Act now to get your tack shaver for the special TV price of just $29.99 with free shipping. It's the only shaver that features genuine Bell & Howell precision and quality and is backed by our 10-year warranty. But wait, call or click today and you can get a second tack shaver. Just pay a separate fee. That's right, you can get 2 Bell & Howell tack shavers for this special TV price. Here's how to order.
To order, call 1-800-915-4576 or go to tackshaver.com. That's 1-800-915-4576, or you can order online at tackshaver.com.
ACC Network Football is presented by Dr. Pepper, the official drink of Fansville.
Senior day here at Alumni Stadium. I'm sure this isn't exactly how these players envision their senior day going, but for John Lamont and Max Richardson, the crew of seniors there, it was a nice moment before the game. And this right here, Robbie Bell, the senior right guard out of Georgia, injuring his knee on that last play, being helped off the field. So you never want to see this. Certainly our best go out to Robbie. You saw that firsthand, Eric, didn't you, right there on the field?
Yeah, at the end of the play, unfortunately, Robbie got rolled up on his left leg by a Boston College defensive lineman. He was in a lot of pain down on the field, and it's a sad sight when you got to see one of your seniors leave the field like that so late in the season, too, and you really feel for Robbie Bell in this moment.
Tough break. As Robbie Bell goes to the 10, we have a 4th and 5 right here from the 49-yard line, and it looks like Scott Satterfield is saying this is a time for us to pick up a first and get a drive going with 10:29 left to go in this contest. Mitchell in the backfield with Cunningham. Cunningham steps up, has a receiver. That's Atwell. 30. Down the sideline, pushed out of bounds inside the 30. So Atwell finally getting loose in this game.
Louisville's going for it. This is the 15th time in the past 6 games, and they are converted on 10 of them. Really good job just running away from the man defense. Tutu Atwell is way faster than anybody on this field. And he ran away and picked up this first down. Just lucky to be able to push him out of bounds and save the touchdown.
Gain of 26.
Satterfield.
Yeah, and a gain of 26 on that play, Mark. Remember, this was 1st and 25 after that penalty. So a big conversion for Louisville to keep this drive alive, down 14 in the 4th. Cunningham looking to throw. Nobody open. Keeps it. That's a lot of work for a 3-yard gain.
Tell you what, Malik Cunningham understands the weapons that he has when he's running the ball. It's not just his legs, but he uses that pump fake pretty well, too. He's got Maximilian Richardson a couple plays ago on a jump. Got a couple of these defenders to leave their feet, and he's able to gain the edge, but pulling out really all the stops, and he understands that without Javion Hawkins in the backfield behind him, he loses some of that explosive ability, so he's really doing it himself.
Cunningham, you get hit in the head, shakes it off into the end zone. Receiver makes a catch, but I don't know if Ford got a foot in bounds.
Ford thinks he got a foot in bounds.
Williams Hill's completed pass and a touchdown.
What concentration.
Touchdown.
Oh,
it's ruled a touchdown. Let's see if Ford is able to make the catch and get a foot in bounds. Hard to see from that angle. He definitely hits the pylon. Now he makes the catch.
Completed pass for a touchdown is under further review.
It looks to me like he doesn't corral that thing until he's out of bounds, Mark, but that's just on that angle that I saw.
Yeah, and
he
remember,
still seems to think he's got one.
And remember, that pylon, if you touch the pylon, that doesn't mean you're out of bounds. That just symbolizes the vertical line that goes straight up in the air. So just because you see that orange thing fall over, it's when his back touches the ground.
When does he have possession?
Right there.
Well,
looks.
I can't see if he has that left foot in bounds or not.
Looks to me. Looks to me like that left foot. Does the heel get to drag in bounds or not?
Oh. I don't know. That looks like a lot of white. Now, it was called a touchdown on the field. So there has to be indisputable evidence that he was out of bounds to overturn the call.
Well, I think they're going to keep the call. I think it stands on the field. I think they get the ball at the 1-yard line. And you mentioned it, started this drive 1st and 25 after that big penalty. They've marched all the way down the field.
Again, the ruling on the field is not only a catch, but a touchdown. So the officials are looking at two different things. Was it a catch, and did he score? Now, if that's a catch right there, him knocking over the pylon, does that constitute a touchdown? It's where the ball is.
Yeah, it's where the ball is. So knocking over the pylon with your rump, and you have the ball still behind the line, means it's not a touchdown. Now, from that angle, it's tough to tell whether the ball also had crossed the line. And I think the real question is just going to be, okay, is there enough evidence to overturn it? If not, we've got a touchdown.
Rick Page, our replay official, in consult with Stuart Mullins, our referee. This is a big call in this game at 8:58. And Louisville down 2 scores. They got a score on this drive. Cunningham thought he got face masked.
The receiver initially touched the ball, but did not gain possession of the ball before he touched the pylon. By rule, the pass is incomplete. It will be 3rd down and 7 at the previous spot. The clock is correct, and will start on the snap.
So I guess, you know, I was actually wrong on what I had said, because there looks like they're saying the pylon actually is out of bounds.
If you do not have possession. If you have possession and you hit that pylon, that's a touchdown.
Correct.
With the ball. That's the call on the field. So an incomplete pass, which now brings up a really big 3rd down on this drive. Cunningham. Easy. Spinning inside the 5. Man, he is something else in the open field. 15 yards on the carry.
He is so good with that spin move. I mean, he always spins kind of away from the way his momentum is going. He's running to the right. He's going to spin back to his left. I mean, he's able to continue downfield. Such an effective runner. But he's only effective running the ball because he can throw the ball like we've seen as well.
He has 130 yards on 15 carries today. Fake to Hall. He's going to just look to run it himself. He runs right into Barlow. Lamont was there on the stop as well.
Good job being responsibility sound by Boston College defensively. Louisville had a tackle over situation. Everybody was showing run to the top of the screen. Scott Satterfield and Dwayne Ledford tried to change up, but Boston College was not fooled. And Boston College already with 1 big goal line stand in this game, trying to bow up and get another one.
Cunningham looking to throw. Has Tutu out there and connects with him for the score.
What a pass by Malik Cunningham. Tutu Atwell just broke to the flat. A little bit of a rub at the top of the screen, but just a perfectly placed ball. No one had a chance at this one besides Tutu Atwell. Good job by Atwell just to sell a little bit of a fake upfield, turn to the outside, sure catch for a touchdown.
Brandon Sebastian just couldn't get out there in time, and a bullet from Cunningham. 11-play drive and converting after a 1st and 25 in their own territory. And that 1st and 25, that penalty was after a 9-yard run too, so that's like a 34-yard penalty. This kick is good from Turner. It looked like BC may have gotten a piece of it, but it goes to the uprights all the same. 2-2 Atwell on the receiving end of this Cunningham pitch. Louisville cuts the lead in half. Jelani Galloway, the sophomore from nearby Providence, Rhode Island. I'm sure if they allowed family and friends in Alumni Stadium today, he'd have a whole boatload of them here cheering him on after that score. But I guarantee you they're watching at home. We certainly appreciate that here on the ACC Network. And I'm sure they're having a big party tonight after Jelani Galloway scored to give Boston College that 14-point advantage. Once again, Hall, can he make a big play on this return? He does get to the outside, but Boston College runs him down at about the 31, and that's where BC will take over. This Boston College offense, 425 yards of total offense, and Eric, they have 178 on the ground. This offensive line paving the way today.
Yeah, heading into the half, I asked Jeff Hafley about the performance of the offensive line. He wanted to talk about the whole offense. I wanted him to just brag on this offensive line, and we see him right there on the screen. Their left tackle, Zion Johnson, first-team All-ACC guard a year ago. He's number 6 in Mel Kiper's draft rankings for guards right now for this draft. That'll put him as a second or third round draft pick. Their center, Alec Lindstrom, was All-ACC a year ago. He's top 10 in Kiper's list, and he's only a junior himself.
Fitzpatrick trying to make a big play here, and he might.
Ooh, he's gone.
Boston College won't catch him. Des Fitzpatrick goes the distance, and Louisville is not done yet. 69 yards.
And it was a catch and run for Des Fitzpatrick. He showed his wheels as well. We know Tutu Atwell is the burner, but Des Fitzpatrick, he averages 19.8 yards per reception, and that is only going to boost that average. Just this real simple bubble screen on the outside. You get the offensive lineman out blocking, but just outruns everybody on Boston College's defense. Jeff Hafley said their biggest concern was matching Louisville's speed. They were not able to on that monster reception.
Turner on for the PAT. It is good, and do not go anywhere just yet. The deficit is once again cut to 7 points.
What good blocking on the outside just to stop the penetration. Just too much speed. Look for Louisville to go back to that play. If it worked that well the first time, they probably should run it again.
First off, Mark, though, they got to get a stop here. They got to get a stop, and they got to get the football back. And with the way Boston College has been running the football, and you just heard Eric talk about that offensive line, that's not going to be an easy task. They got 4:16 to get the ball back to Cunningham to see if he can make some magic happen.
Yeah, and it's a good look at Tim Lukabu, the defensive coordinator. Obviously, he doesn't like that last play. And, you know, when we were talking to him, he said, you know, my defense has actually been playing really, really well. And then I agree with that statement. Just certain plays here and there go for big breaks. And as far as Louisville's defense, I mean, they got to bow up against the line of scrimmage. Eric talked about it, you just talked about it, but Boston College's offensive line and run game is churning right now. Look for some run pressures to get some really pressure to quarterback. Run pressures early in this drive.
Interesting formation for Louisville as they break a huddle, so to speak.
Usually they'll send 44 Dorian Jones across the ball that they go.
Travelstead. Not a very deep kick. Fair catch at the 27-yard line for Boston College. Well, Phil Dracovic, Mark, went out with an injury there late in the third quarter, and Dennis Grossell has come in and played really well.
Yeah, he has played really well. He had that big, long 44-yard run that set them up in scoring range and was able to hit his big wide receiver, C.J. Lewis, in the corner of the end zone. That was just the first of his 2 touchdowns. The next one came to Jelani Galloway over the middle. So in 2 years coming off the bench versus Louisville, Dennis Grossell has 5 touchdowns. he likes playing Louisville. Let's see if he can finish this one out in a better fashion that Boston College ended up losing that game last year.
Levy on the carry. Leans in to pick up 3 on first down. Louisville with all 3 timeouts on the clock. There you see Grosso's numbers last year in the game against Louisville and today.
You got palindrome of stats there. 44-244.
That just went way over my head.
Sorry.
I don't know if it went over Eric's head either. His mic is closed. I'm guessing even if it was open, he wouldn't have had anything to say about that. Grosso using that play clock, winding it down. Selling out of the cards, and they make it work. Yaya Diaby, like lightning into the backfield.
Yeah, Yaya Diaby.
Louisville, their first of the
Big
half.
penalty earlier, but really fantastic
timeout.
job on that play. And you saw run pressure called by Brian Brown, understanding the situation, knowing that Boston College is going to run the ball. And, I mean, now Boston College is in a very precarious situation. Great job just avoiding the block of Alec Lindstrom, slicing through, getting in the backfield.
Yeah, Eric, thinking about what Boston College wanted to do on this drive, certainly getting behind the chains, 3rd and 12 was not ideal.
Yeah, when you're running 4-minute offense, you want your running backs to stay in bounds. You want to have absolutely no penalties, and you really want to churn out the end of this game. So when they're looking at it, Louisville had 3 timeouts. They were thinking you get a first down run for 4 yards, do that 3 times, make them burn their timeouts, get 1 more first down, game's over. You have this huge tackle for loss, and now Boston College may have to throw the ball, which if they have an incompletion would then stop the clock again.
Wholesale changes defensively for Louisville and Brian Brown, the DC, on 3rd and 12. Grosso has time. Now he's flushed out of the pocket. Tries to get it done with himself, and he'll pick up a nice chunk of yardage, but it won't be anywhere near the sticks.
Well, that's the last part of it that Eric Wood didn't mention, the fact that if you don't have it in the pass game, don't force it, don't throw it away. Try to pick up as much as you can to make Louisville burn that last time out. And that's the benefit of having a redshirt junior with some starts under his belt. Look downfield, zone defense, cover 3 by Louisville, just no one's open. And this is the smart move. Try to pick up some yards, stay in bounds. And they have to punt the ball away and put it on their defense to win this one.
Grant Carlson's 2nd punt of the game coming up. And after that lightning strike to Fitzpatrick earlier, the last thing Coach Hafley wanted was 3 and out. At the very least, I suppose, he got Coach Satterfield to call two of his 3 timeouts, but now Cunningham will get the football back. Carlson standing on his own 16. Needs a good one here. Good kick, forcing the fair catch at the 30 from Burns. That's where Cunningham will take over. 3:05 left to go in this contest.
And not really the punt you wanted from Carlson. Maybe a little bit more length on that punt, but either way, this Boston College defense has really been exposed in this second half. 14 points that Louisville's put on the board in this 4th quarter. And out of nowhere, Louisville has almost 500 yards of total offense. A lot because Mikael Cunningham has been able to run the ball, and that huge 69-yard pass to Des Fitzpatrick on that last score.
He has over 400 yards of total offense himself. Mitchell in the backfield. Cunningham, dangerous pass as he was trying to hit Braden Smith out in the flat, and Maitrey was breaking on the ball, almost got there in time to pick it.
Braden Smith, true sophomore. We talked about this earlier in the game with Zay Flowers coming back to the football. You see how Braden's feet stop. He doesn't come back to the football and allows that window for Maitrey to dive in. Fantastic play by Jason Maitrey, but Braden Smith has to come back and help his quarterback out with the football.
Mitchell now out of the backfield, 30. Keeping his feet, churning for additional yardage out to the 40. There's that lower body strength that this coaching staff talked about, and Dwayne Ledford loves with Mitchell, just a workout warrior.
Yeah, workout warrior. You know, anyone who impresses Dwayne Ledford, the offensive coordinator, with their workout and their physicality is doing something right. This guy is a maniac offensive lineman. And again, Miss Ledford, I'm sorry calling your husband a maniac, but that's an endearing term. It's an
I'm sure
endearing
she
term.
understands. Yeah, she's been around him enough. She's feeling it. 3rd and 1 here for Cunningham. On the option, just lowers his head and picks up enough for the first down. Those were 1.5 really tough yards for Cunningham as he comes up a little gimpy. He got hammered by McDuffie. TJ Ram was there.
Yeah, you're sending your quarterback on a quarterback sweep into the short side of the field. I mean, that's a lot of weight. Isaiah McDuffie hits him with his leg.
Another play to Tutu, same as we saw on the last drive when he had a big gain. This time at least Maitre was able to track him down, but Tutu gets 8.
It's a good play call because whether Boston College is in zone or man, that shallow cross ends up being like a man match. And Tutu Atwell is so fast, can just run away from defenders. And you see the obvious limp, but I've seen Malik Cunningham limp before. Doesn't mean he can't run.
Inside of 2 minutes, BC bringing pressure. Ball batted at the line of scrimmage and intercepted. Intercepted by Sheeta Salah. Flag on the play, we'll check it, but as it stands right now, it's Boston College football.
Holding. Offense, number 74. Penalties declined. Result of the play was an interception. First down.
A fortuitous bounce to Sheeta Salah in the concentration for the sophomore from Somerset, New Jersey to bring it in, and a big turnover may be the undoing for the Cardinals again.
And Tem Lukabu took his shot. He sends 7 pass rushers, and it looks like Maximilian Roberts was able to get around the edge, number 4, and just the ball was tipped up in the air, right came down in Sheeta Salah's lap. Really good play call by Tem Lukabu to send pressure. Great job by Boston College to capitalize. But once again, turnovers are killing Louisville and their chances to win football games.
Their 3rd turnover of the night, which just sounds like a broken record for Cardinal fans. 3 turnovers seemingly each and every night. First 2 led to 10 Boston College points early in this game, and this one may just be the final nail in the coffin for this Cardinal team that had a shot.
Their 3rd and final of the half.
With Cunningham at midfield, but now on defense they have to use their 3rd and final timeout. There's Tem Lukabu, defensive coordinator, also so much NFL experience. Man, this staff, you know, Hafley has a lot of NFL experience being defensive backs coach on a lot of NFL teams, but his staff does as well.
Yeah, they do, and they all have a little bit of an NFL pedigree, and you'll just kind of, you sense it when you talk to these coaches. Just their experience in the NFL, the obvious job aspect that it becomes when you go to the NFL and you play. You know, it's a lot less about building character of players and more so about building winning programs. But all these coaches for Boston College have done a really good job of coming back to the collegiate level and instilling that drive to win, but also with growing these players off the field as well.
Cunningham frustrated. Another very typical game where he puts up a lot of yards, over 400 yards rather for him personally of total offense. But the interception here in the 4th quarter maybe overshadowing that performance. And nothing he can do on the sideline as this clock winds down toward a minute left in this game.
And Louisville will come out of this
strategy.
Yeah, they'll probably come out of this with a loss, it looks like, and then they got another game December 19th versus Wake Forest, and that's a complete season. And in Boston College, after this one, they just have a game at Virginia on December 5th, and we talked to both of these coaches just about the fact that they are already at their second to last game, and after this one, they'll be at their last game of the season, playing a complete full season. They give a lot of credit to the ACC, to John Swafford, and to the flexibility of all the programs. just understanding the importance of bringing football back this season and this year.
Louisville will have a big layoff after this game. 3 weeks for Coach Satterfield and company before they finish up against Wake on the 19th. Boston College, meanwhile, as you said, Mark, they'll travel to Virginia to take on the Hoos next Saturday.
Chris, we got the most recent release of bowl schedules, too. Looks like one of those first bowl games on the 22nd. So it could be a quick turnaround if Louisville ends up making a bowl game. Obviously, record is not as important this year for bowl selection, so you don't necessarily have to have 6 wins. But Boston College has made it that far with 6 after this one.
BC gets the W. They improved to 6-4 on the year. The frustrating season for Coach Satterfield continues as the Cardinals drop to 3-7 on the season. Very entertaining football game going right down to the wire. Boston College able to run the football. You think about BC coming into this game, Mark, averaging only 104 yards rushing per game. Boston College is just so un-Eagles-like from what they've done these last few years. Well, today, 188 yards on the ground. And Dennis Grosel, what a job for him coming in for the injured Phil Jerkovic. There's Jerkovic. That's actually a good sign right there with the ice on the knee as he's slapping fives with his teammates. And